Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and in today's video we are going to be doing a nail design using the Kiki London Easy Build Up Gel, as I think it's been a little while since we've done a builder gel nail tutorial on the channel. So jumping straight in, I'm going to start off by cleansing and sanitizing the natural nail plate using some alcohol. So we're doing this to remove any dust or dirt that might be on the nail. We're then going to jump in to prepping the nail, and I'm going to start off by using the Vienna Cuticle tool. Now I love this one. It's got a really nice smooth round edge to it, so it's really great if you've not got too much stubborn cuticle to push back off the nail plate. But if you do then find that you have got some stubborn cuticle, you can come in with the other end, which has like a cuticle knife blade, and you can scrape off any dry, dead, stubborn cuticle. I did also have a little hangnail which I nipped off with the Milan cuticle nippers. And then lastly, I'm just going to go back and push up all of that living tissue, so everything we're not removing, but that kind of natural nail fold, we're just pushing everything back so we've got a nice clear nail plate. Now I've done minimal prep because we're going to be using the Kiki London peel off base coat today. Now the peel off base coat is great if you are a content creator. You can come in, create your nail design as normal, and then simply peel it off. And I thought I would use it under the Easy Build Up Gel today, just to show you guys that it can be used under all of the Kiki London nail products. I have also used it under acrylic nails over on my own channel as well. So I'm going to come in and apply the peel off base coat to the entire nail plate, and because I knew that I was going to be removing this either the same day or maybe the next day, I didn't go in and apply any primer. You can get up to 7 days wear out of the peel off base coat, so if you are wanting to maybe do it on a client who is just wanting to have nails on for an event or changes their color regular, then you can also use it and get up to 7 days wear. And if I was going to wear it that way, I would apply my primer underneath. Now after curing this, it does leave a tacky layer. When I'm going to be gluing nail tips on, I like to wipe away that tacky layer. If you're not applying tips, so if you're sculpting or if you're coming straight over the top with a builder gel overlay or your gel polish shades, then you don't need to wipe away that tacky inhibition layer. But because I was going to be applying my nail tips today, I have wiped off that tacky inhibition layer. Now when it comes to applying your nail tips, you want to make sure that they're sized up correctly, fitting nicely from side to side without being too small. It's always better to go a little bit too big and file the sides rather than go too small and having to really press it on to fit the nail. I then just applied a small amount of glue, held this on for a few seconds, and then once it had dried in the center, I just come in and pressed those little wings down at the corner. I did then take the KNS nail scissors to take down the length of this tip, as I didn't want to do anything super long. And then I'm going to switch to my Kiki London file, and I'm just going to use the 180 grit side just to neaten up that shape that we've cut. So these tips are kind of like a long square. They're pre-pinched as well, so they have a nice C curve to them. When you cut them down, they sort of go into a tapered square shape. So I just wanted to come in with my file and not necessarily change the shape, but just neaten up where we had cut. Then I'm going to start off with Soft Peach from the Easy Build Up range. This is the Kiki London's Builder Gel in a bottle range. It has a medium viscosity. It's great for overlays, doing extension with tips like we're doing today, or for sculpting as well. It's a really beginner friendly product. Now I'm going to start off by applying a thin coat of this to the entire nail. Now because the design we're going to be doing, I'm going to be doing a glitter fade from the tip down, and I want to make sure that this color is coming through at that natural nail bed area. So I'm going to use this as my base layer. If you want to, you can come in and do this first coat with clear, but because this is a nice natural shade, it works quite well as a base layer as well. So I'm going to come in and apply a thin slip layer to the entire nail, and then I'm going to take a small ball of gel and just start building up the nail bed area. I want this part of the nail to be this color, so I can start building up some of my strength and structure with this color, and then when it comes to encapsulating, we'll finish off building up our apex when we're encapsulating our glitter. So I started off with just a small ball of gel. I'm not taking this all the way down to the tip of the nail because we're going to be applying our glitters at the tip anyway, but I'm going to come in with another ball of gel and just start building up some of the structure and getting a little bit more of the color coming through from this shade. It is a nice natural color, so it doesn't necessarily fully cover imperfections that are on the nail, but you can build this up, and there are other colors available in the Easy Build Up range. You can also team it with the rubber base coats underneath if you want a more opaque finish. Now once I had built up I've started building up my apex. I've got that layer built up and we've got our slip layer done. It's completely covered basically. I'm then going to switch to my stripe liner brush, and I'm going to use this part of my brush to basically just make sure that the application is nice and neat around that cuticle area and coming down the side walls. And at this point you should basically have a thin layer over the entire nail and just a little bit of an apex being built on that natural nail bed area. We did then pop this into cure for 60 seconds, and I'm then going to start off with my glitter. Now I want to do a chunky glitter ombre, and the easiest way to do this is actually by starting off with a fine glitter that matches the chunky glitter you're going to be using. So I'm going to be using Lavender Haze to begin with from the Platinum range. This is one of my favorite glitters because, as you can see, it is jam packed with sparkles, but those sparkles are really fine and they've kind of got like a foil effect to them. So I've painted on a thin coat just at the tip of the nail, and then I'm going to take my ombre brush and start blending this out. Now I want to fade this down towards the cuticle area, so I'm just using my ombre brush to gently nudge those glitters down to start creating that glitter fade effect, and this already looks super pretty on its own. Now whilst that glitter is still wet, this is where I'm going to start picking up my chunky glitters. Now this mix of glitter has some chunky flowers in there, then there's some smaller flowers, then there's some mylar flakes. It's got a lot going on it, and when you're encapsulating these it can be a little bit tricky because you want to make sure the really chunky bits, so those larger flowers, are lying nice and flat and that they're going to be able to be encapsulated without you having to do a really thick nail. So bear in mind where you're placing them down. I'm placing them down towards the center of the nail so that that's where we're building up our apex and the spine of the nail. So that part of the nail has a little bit extra thickness anyway. I'm not putting them too close to the tips of the nail or the side walls because this is the part of the nails where we want it to be nice and thin, and we don't want to have to come in and do a thick layer of clear to encapsulate that. This glitter did send my camera crazy when it comes to focusing. So once I had placed down my chunky glitters, I come around with some of the finer glitters where the tips and the sidewalls areas are, and then again we faded that down, and then I did pop that in to cure for a full 30 seconds. So those glitters are going to be held in place by the platinum glitter that we popped down underneath. And now we're ready to come in and encapsulate with the Kiki London Crystal Clear Builder Gel. So what I'm going to do with this, because we're encapsulating such a chunky glitter, I'm going to go in with my slip layer. So your slip layer is a thin layer of a thin layer of gel that you apply to the entire nail, and it kind of gives your builder ball of gel a guide on where to go to. So you want to make sure that you're applying it nice and neat at that cuticle area. But then what I'm going to do with this slip layer, I'm going to really work it in over those chunky layers of glitter. So really getting around those flowers, into the little hole of the flowers, around some of the mylar flakes, so that the glitter is fully covered. It will look uneven, but what this is going to do is it's really going to help your builder ball of gel flow over them nicely. So then we're going to pick up our builder ball of gel. Whilst that layer underneath is still wet, we're going to start off down at the cuticle area, and I've just gone in with a small ball of gel here to start building up the rest of that apex. Now we had already built up some of the apex with our nude color with soft peach, so I don't need to apply a too thick layer there. Then I'm going to start working it slowly over the chunky glitters, taking it from side to side, and then as that ball of gel starts to run out, I'm not going to pull it all the way down to the tip of the nail. I'm going to stop and pick up a second ball of gel, and then I'm going to place this exactly where our first ball of gel started to run out, blend it together. It's going to pull off the gel on your brush effortlessly, and then we're going to just continue that process of floating and working this ball of gel from side to side. And And as we're doing this, we're not only encapsulating the glitters, but we're building up the strength and structure of the nail. As you can see there, it's nice and thin at the cuticle area. We build up at apex, and then it's going to taper off nice and thin towards the tip of the nail. I did, as I looked at the side, felt as though I hadn't built up enough structure in that apex area, and as we come down the center spine of the nail, so I did come in with another small amount of gel and literally just guide it into place there. And now you can see, I was just trying to show with my brush that we've got a much better apex built up. I do then come in with my stripe liner brush and just gently feather out this gel at the sidewalls, because we don't necessarily want it coming off the sidewalls. That's going to give us more work to do when it comes to filing. We want those sidewalls to be nice and thin. So I'm just cleaning up the sidewall area and just guiding that gel into place, so that we're doing a lot of the work for creating our structure with our gel and our brush, rather than having to come in and file off any excess gel or lumps or bumps or unevenness. We're then going to pop that in to cure for a full 60 seconds, and then because I do still want to file and refine the nail, I'm going to wipe over the nail with some alcohol to remove that tacky inhibition layer. I'm then going to take my Kiki London file, and I find the Kiki London Easy Build Up Gel so easy to file that I like to predominantly use my 180 grit side of my file. If I have made mistakes with my application, or the gel looks quite bulky and uneven, then I will debulk using the 100 grit side of the file. But if I'm fairly happy with my application, I'm just going to use the 180 grit side, because it does file down nice and quickly. So I like to start off by fixing up my shape. So I just come straight along the sides of the nail and over the tip of the nail. It's really important that you keep your file nice and flat and straight against those side walls, not angling the file inwards, because this is going to mess up your sharp square shape. And I'm then going to start contouring and refining the surface of the nail. So I go up along one side wall, we're just thinning it out, making it nice and smooth, and then I'm going to come around that cuticle area. You're only going to need a few swipes around that cuticle area, because we've already applied it nice and thin. This is just going to make it nice and flush, so that as the nail starts growing out, there isn't a huge ridge. And then I'm going to do the same and come up over the side wall on the other side. So I go in like that C shape, so up one side wall, around the cuticle area, and down the other side wall. And then I'm just going to go over the entire surface of the nail, always checking from all angles that everything is nice and refined, there's no lumps or bumps, and also be careful that you're not going to overfile. I then did thin out the tip of the nail a little bit as well, just to make sure that that was nice and thin, because we don't want a thick bulky tip. And then here I kept going out of shot, so I was just checking from all angles that I was happy with the shape of the nail, happy that we've got the nice thin tip, but we've got a nice apex and structure built up. And then I'm going to come in and finish off shaping the nail. So here I did file underneath slightly, just to fix up the lower arches of the nail tip, where there was a little bit of excess gel that had run, so I was just cleaning that up. And then I'm going in and sharpening up my shape, and then this is what your nail should look like once you're finished all your filing. I do then like to come in and buff the surface of the nail. When you file, you can put some quite scratch-like look scratches, I suppose, into the gel. So coming in with your buffer buffs those out and just gives a really nice crystal clear finish when it comes to top coating. So with my Kiki London buffer, I'll just go over the nail once with the 100 grit side, then flip it over and go over again with the 180 grit side. Then it's really important to give the nail a really good clean, because you want to make sure you get rid of every single dust particle. So I go in with my Kiki London dust brush dry, brush all of that dust away, and then I go in with just a spritz of alcohol on it, just to pick up any of those stubborn pieces of dust. And then today I chose to use the Kiki London Crystal Top Coat. The nail would have looked quite dull after all the filing and buffing, and then you come in and you apply your crystal top coat and those glitters all come back to life. I absolutely love this step when I'm doing a builder gel set of nails. So I'm just going to come in and apply a thin coat of this to the entire nail, and look how pretty this looks. I love how natural the soft peach looks. It just looks so pretty, and it works so well for something like a glitter fade, in my opinion. Now we've cured our top coat, so finally the last step is to come in and apply your cuticle oil. I've chosen to to use Coconut Escape today, so I'm just going to take a small drop of this, pop this down at the cuticle area, give it a good rub in, and then that is the nail finished. Of course, this would look amazing in a full set. I've just done the one now as a demo today, but do let me know if there are other designs you would like to see done with the Easy Build Up Gel. Now, I did record a reel for how to remove this with a peel off base. It was simply using a cuticle tool to kind of like break the seal between the peel off base coat and the nail. I will try and upload that as a YouTube short, and then you can see how easy it is to remove the peel off base coat. But for now, thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment below, and hit that subscription button if you haven't already. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.